guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough. Time flies when you're having rum.
Now as you listen to this tale, by now I'm sure you have surmised that I slipped the hangman's cable and escaped him with my life. But how I got away, well that's another story, son. My voyages, they aren't over yet. Time flies when you're having rum.
Time flies when you're having rum, you boys. Time flies when you're having rum. When you're sailing under the black flag and you're firing all your guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough. Time flies when you're having rum. Time flies.
Okay, so that's a song called Time Flies When You're Having Rum. You can find it on YouTube. We're going to discuss pirate flags and what they mean. In that song, they discuss sailing under the black flag, sailing under the red flag. What does that mean? This is something you should probably know. So, if you see a boat at sea sailing a black flag, that means I belong to no country and that I'm probably going to steal your shit and leave you alive. If you see a pirate ship flying the red flag, no prisoners, no survivors, expect no quarter because none shall be given. Give no quarter because none shall be given. That is our heads up warning to you that we intend to steal your boat and throw you off of it. Har, har, har. There's a part of that song where they get caught by the English Navy. The captain orders to fly the red flag and go straight at them. Half the crew dies. That was the little part you heard there about, and then I slipped the hangman's noose. In the song, he goes all the way back to England and gets another pirate ship when he escapes jail and heads back out. No. I like the red flag. The red flag is what is needed. No quarter. A lot of people don't get that there ever were red pirate flags. It's not something people talk about. Most people don't get that pirate ships had more than one flag. Usually it's like 3 or 4. A couple different nations' flags, their own pirate flag, and then the red flag. Flying a fucking bloody banner. I almost fucking pulled out a Soviet flag from Afghanistan out of the garage and painted a fucking ship's wheel on it last night. Partially because fuck communism, so there's that aspect to it, and partially because it's the only red flag I own. I would like to have a red pirate flag now. Pirate flags have a pretty interesting history because usually they're meant to identify the exact vessel that you are being attacked by. That's, the point of them is intimidation. If you've been a pirate at sea for 20 years, raiding, and your flag is known, fly it. They might just fucking stop and give you their shit in hopes that you just let them go. Although, if you have the reputation for leaving very few survivors, they probably won't do that. Oh. Anyway, it's one of my newest, favoritist songs because of the fucking everything about it. It's a good song. I thought the flag thing was interesting. Who would have thought that pirates were chivalrous enough to, fully announce their intentions before they ever even meet you? It's not like we're fucking being secretive about it. We're flying a giant red flag that says we're going to kill you all. I guess it's not exactly subtle. That's kind of my style, though. Yeah. I always liked the part in The Shooter when the old man says, they quit the subtle tactics. And they called in an artillery strike on his ass. Brought the whole building down on him. He crawled out of there. The tough son of a bitch. I like the crazy old man and Shooter. The crazy old man and Shooter was my grandpa. Just to be clear. Like, so much about that fucking character was him. Including when you asked him about the JFK assassination and he pointed you at a shovel in the corner. Shit like that. Like, some of that, he just did to fuck with people. Some of that was legit. I miss that, man. The movie Shooter in general is like this like love letter to everything that my grandfather was or believed. I don't know how many times I went over to his house for one reason or another and just opened the door and went into the den because that's what I always did there. Most people knocked because they had sense to not get shot at my grandpa's house. Me, I always entered like I owned the place. But it's one of those that I make a lot of fucking racket when I show up to a place for a reason. Like, especially if it's his house. Like, the second that he sees it's me, he's going to stop fucking, worrying about anything. And, like, I make it very clear who I am when I arrive. And he knew that and, like, liked me and all of that shit. It was interesting. Anyway, I don't know how many fucking times I went over there and they had the movie fucking Shooter just playing, drinking a beer. Going, yep, Danny Glover needs to die. That's one of the main takeaways from that movie is Danny Glover's character is a piece of shit in that movie. Oh. There's a lot of stuff in that movie that is like cool long range shooting nerd stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that is just like, I don't know, there's so much of what has happened in the tactical community that I blame on the movie Shooter. Few other things, but like all of the Navy SEAL movies in the last 10 years, Shooter and a handful of other things have, I don't know, they've made the gun community a more interesting place to hang out, let's put it that way. There's a serious demographic of new people to the gun community that I don't know. I think it's funny. And then there's like the same old demographic that's always been there of like trying to think of a person. Well, clearly Nut and Fancy, Risky Christie, and I have all been doing what we've been doing for like our entire lives. Now, Nut and Fancy influenced the other two of us, so maybe that's like, I don't know. But there's been some demographic of people that have always been like militia-y people or like end of the world-y people. And like, I don't know. I've always enjoyed those people in the gun community for the most part. I remember hanging out at gun shows as a kid talking with neo-Nazis about the end of the world, trying to figure out why they hated me, basically. As it turns out, that answer is complex. Sad part is, most of the fucking, like, dipshits and whatever that are neo-Nazis, at this point in the society that they are being raised in, I would question most of the young men that don't become neo-Nazis. You know, when you have indoctrination programs going at schools to fucking, I don't know. What they're doing is opening up children to the possibility of being turned into Nazis. This is my opinion. With all of the stuff that they're doing with controlling kids in schools and making school this fucking woke hell and all of that bullshit, you are making a generation of young men into Adolf Hitler. You can only fuck with boys so long. I honestly fully believe every single person that's doing the trans thing, to some extent, is protesting. Maybe it's, just me. I don't know. But that's what I see when I see the trans movement, is people that otherwise would go and like do something else, but are now just so upset in general that they're like, fuck you, I'm going to go do what I always wanted to do anyway. That's the way to be. It's the way I am a lot of times.